if you have wins and you were unable to type it in, put it in there, and then we'll get it going. So let me share my screen and we will get going with today's call. So today's call, you know what's funny? You guys like very often will be like, you read my mind on the call. That's the one that I needed. Last week's call, the feedback was amazing. Like perfectionism and just trying to get everything to the T is really something that we have to work with. Like, how can I have those high standards but not have it control my ever so being? So I appreciate on all of the feedback on that. If you haven't watched it, I definitely recommend it. This way you don't feel that need for perfection. Now, this is almost like branching off of that, and it's something that I've had a lot of conversations on, is how can we manage eating out, and how do we not have to see eating out as being a downfall. Last week we spoke about it. You guys say it to me all the time, oh Nicole, I just fall off over the weekends. And it's because you think your Saturday is going to look like your Tuesday. It's never going to look that way because you're always on structure. Monday through Friday, you have the same schedule. And then one day where you're off schedule, you think that it's off routine. No, we need a Saturday routine. We need a Sunday routine. We need a Friday routine. It doesn't look like Tuesday and it will never look like Tuesday. And if you did, you probably wouldn't have such a like you wouldn't have variety in your life, right? So we're never going to avoid eating out, but how can we stay on track without being super, super rigid? That's what I want to talk about today. So today's agenda, we're going to be mapping out the day for dinner, and we're going to be also mapping out the day for lunch. With this, obviously tailor this to how things usually go for you and your dynamic in eating out. I find that my dynamic for both, whether I'm eating out for dinner or I'm eating out for lunch, is slightly different. That's why I want to talk about it today. We're going to talk about some pro tips, super, simple tips that you can do when you're eating out, and the reality of what is this process of dieting, calorie deficit, being on a mission. You're going out. It's fucking hard. I get it. And we're just going to make it a little bit easier. So going out for dinner, all right, what we want to think of is having a regular breakfast. Right? What is my regular breakfast? Right? My eggs, my veggies are in there, my protein is there. How can we keep a regular breakfast? Right? One of those meals, being like lunch, is going to be lower calorie and it's going to be high protein, high veggie, right? So we're getting those nutrients in and we're making sure that protein is hit, because the reality is restaurants don't really care about your protein goal as much as you care. So can we get that protein goal early on in the day? That's obviously going to keep your cravings down. It's going to keep hunger down. It keeps you on track with your goals. And then when we go to dinner, we're taking that, can I pick an extra mindful dinner? Right? We'll get into that a little bit, what I mean by that. But the goal here is, can we maintain somewhat control? So we don't have to think I'm going out for dinner and my day is just shit. Control what you can, right? And get to the point that you want to make good choices. And what I mean by that is mostly this last point here, to get to dinner not having high hunger and high cravings. So, what a mistake that I used to make is like, I'm going out for dinner. I don't want to eat lunch, or I'm just going to have a banana or some crackers or like a little bit of this. And then I get to dinner and I'm fucking starving. Like I am ravenous. I want to eat everything. Give me the bread. It's on there. I wouldn't even eat the bread normally, but it's because I skipped lunch, right? Or having a really light breakfast and then a really light lunch. And then again, dinner is more so ravenous, right? How can we continue to fuel throughout the day so that when you go to dinner and you're wondering, like, oh, why do these girls like they can choose these meals that just like fit their goals and it just seems like so much easier? It's because we're not going in with high cravings and high hunger, and that comes on the front end. So I am adjusting, right? I am having lower calories throughout the day a little bit, but I'm making sure to eat. Now for lunch, it's gonna be that same dynamic. I sometimes, if I'm going out for lunch and it's like soon, I'll make like a protein shake. I'll have some fruit, but sometimes I follow the same approach where I'm having my usual breakfast, right? So that's just an option. You don't have to have a protein shake. I know some of you hate protein shakes. Don't have it if you hate it. That's the last thing that I would want for you. If you like your eggs, you like your toast, whatever that means for you, having that breakfast. We're having a mindful lunch, and then at the end of the day, we are getting our proteins in and we're keeping it veggie based. So a salad, like here I have protein, I have my tofu, I have a simple salad because my lunch was filled with carbs, right? So it's kind of like that balance again that we're talking about. An approach that we don't want to think is hey, I'm going out for lunch and I'm just going to eat, like basically eat all my calories here and I'm going to skip dinner. We don't want that approach. We want to keep the meal structure. When we have that structure, when we have that timing, we're never thinking of skipping meals. We're never wondering, should I be eating right now? We're not getting into, I'll make up for it later. If you're eating a lot at night and then you're skipping breakfast, oh, if I just eat a lot today, I'm just going to skip breakfast, right? To make up for it. And then at lunch, you're starving. So it's this cycle that happens where at one point we're overeating simply because we were trying to restrict ourselves in one area, right? So again, keeping that control in those three, keeping that structure, getting yourself to want to make these good choices. And always when we are going out to eat, how can I keep hunger and cravings like low? When I was struggling a lot with like kind of like my all or nothing mindset, my mom used to like think I was crazy because I would like we were going out to eat and if I was really really hungry I would have like a banana before going and she's like, why are you having a banana, like we were about to go out to eat, like you're gonna eat. But I knew in my head, if I go into dinner or if I go to this event, if I'm going to this wedding, this birthday party, and I'm super hungry, then I'm gonna want to pick at everything, and I would rather not go in hungry because then I make better decisions. So that's an approach that has really really helped me, was keeping my hunger and cravings down on the front end, and making that decision for the healthier choice is much easier. All right. And what do I mean by mindful? So I put here like have a mindful lunch, have an extra mindful dinner, which I'll say the difference for those in a second. All right. When we think mindful, when we're making these choices, you're going out to eat, always, we're looking for some type of protein and veggies. So we're just not gonna get the pasta bowl. Like every so often you're craving pasta, go for it. I get it, right? But we're not just gonna go for, can I get the mac and cheese with like extra cheese and like bread on the side? There's no protein in there. There's no veggies. There's nothing really in there that's gonna give you that nutrients, that's gonna give you that energy, and that's also gonna fuel your goals. And you're probably gonna feel like a snail after. You're not gonna feel your best, right? We also want to think, when we're thinking mindful, is you can't have it all, right? So we can't do the appetizer, the bread, the main course, the side of fries, the drinks, the dessert, because if you ever have done that, again, we don't feel so good after. It's too much. So if you are having, let's say, your main course, right? Maybe if you want an appetizer, you're not getting dessert. Or if you really want dessert, I always look at the menu. I freaking love going out to eat. I always look at the menu so I usually know what I'm gonna get beforehand. So if I see, I'm a sweet girl, if I see like a dessert that I really want, I'm gonna opt out of the appetizer so that I can get the dessert. Sometimes I don't make it because my main course kind of fills me up, right? But that's the same approach. We're not going for all of these, but instead, if I'm having the bread, okay, can I keep my main course a little bit lighter on the carbs? If I'm having, a burger, maybe it's instead of a side of fries, we're like changing it for like a side salad or something. If I'm having drinks, if I'm having wine, maybe instead of like having dessert, I'm having a glass of wine. So it's kind of, are you guys kind of catching like that balance there? It's again, like I can't have it all, right? And sometimes my family would be like, oh, have some wine, have some this, have some this. I'm like, I don't, that's too much for me. Like, I don't want that. This is what's in line with my goals right now. All right. Now drinks. If you are doing any type of alcohol, we want to think 0 calorie mixers, right? That's kind of like the easiest hack, to be honest. Can we get a seltzer with tequila or a diet coke with rum, whatever like your vibe is there? Can we do 0 calorie mixers? That's always going to be your go-to. It's going to save you a ton of calories. 200 calories can really go a long way, and if you haven't started tracking your calories just yet, you'll find out how much you'll realize, like, ooh, yeah, I'm gonna pick a 0 calorie mixer because it's gonna make a big difference when I go out to eat. Little things like that. Right. You'll realize even like it's not that deep. It's much easier to do. Right. Balancing out the calories, right? And doing very, very simple things. The things that I'm gonna mention here are more so the things that you do over the course of your life that make a massive difference. When I first started doing these things, I was just like, oh, I'm making healthier choices. Did I see results right away? No. However, I would say that the lifestyle I live now, right? How I feel in my skin, how I've been able to like manage my weight, right? It comes down to the very, very simple things. Can I get the sauce on the side? Super simple. Sometimes they drown whatever you're having in sauce. You're like, this is too much, but then you eat it. It's there. It's on your meal. Can I get the sauce on the side? When I go to Chipotle, my sour cream always on the side. And then little by little, like I used to put a lot of sour cream and then I put a little bit less and a little bit less. And obviously your palate starts to adapt to that. Can we get the sauce on the side so that you're in control and you realize like, oh shit, they gave me a lot of sauce. If I put this on my meal, that actually looks like a lot. And then we're becoming more visual with it as well. Or if you're having like veggies, can I get that with like no butter, no oils? I've said it, and really, honestly, I love it now. I can't really have oily food anymore. I used to be able to, but once I started doing this, again, your palate adapts. Can I get that cooked with no butters, no oils? Obviously, to a certain extent, but depending on, usually I do this with my veggies because I'm trying to be healthy. And if you're drowning my veggies in oil, I might as well get the fries, right? Can I get it grilled over fried? Chicken, fish, whatever option you're having, can I get it grilled over fried? Even if it's not on the menu, you can do that. And the side swap, similar to what I had mentioned. If you want to keep calories low, obviously this is not forever. If you see me now with a burger and fries, it's because I'm not in a calorie deficit, and I will always tell you guys that. But when you are in a calorie deficit and when we are managing calories, we're doing the burger. Okay, can I switch the side fries? Can I get a side salad? Or instead of, I don't know, the mashed potatoes, can usually a side salad is like easy, or like a side of veggies is going to be your easiest option if you really want, like, let's say the burger or whatever it is that you're having. Swapping out the sides really makes a big difference. Again, this is not something like sauce on the side, no butter on my veggies. It's not something that's going to make a big difference for you this week or this month or next month or whatever, but over the course of your lifetime, it's the tiny little habits, like you going for a walk every morning. It really, really, really adds up. All right. So let's talk about this mindful dinner, kind of what I mean by this. What I mean by mindful lunch versus an extra mindful dinner is because I really don't, this is for me for sure. I know people are different. I really don't like the idea of, if I'm going out to dinner at 7, I don't want to be hungry all day. So I have to have carbs in my day. Like I have to wake up in the morning, have my carbs. I have to have my carbs. So at dinner, I'm being a little bit more mindful because I just had a day of eating. When I'm going out for lunch, I have breakfast, and then that lunch is going to hold me down for a while. And obviously, I just went out to eat. My cravings, my hungers are way down. It's easy for me to have a salad at night. Right. So if you notice here where my carbs are placed, right, my carbs are basically once in a day. So like, cool, I'm able to have like that pizza. That's why I love when my family invites me for lunch, and I'm usually the one that say like, let's go to lunch instead of let's do dinner. I will always do lunch because it's easier for me to plan my day around it. Right. For dinner, since I have to wait until 7 p.m. and I don't want to be starving all day, my carbs are more distributed throughout the day. So it's really just carbs are here when we're going out for lunch. Carbs are in 2 areas where we're going out for dinner. That's why when we go out for dinner, just be a little bit more mindful with the option that you're picking. Keep it a little bit lighter on the calorie side. Does that make sense? If you have any questions, by the way, on any of this, please let me know. Oh, I didn't know this was a video and it's moving. Okay, cool. So next thing, when you're traveling, I follow the same exact approach. Same exact approach. When I'm traveling, I try my best to also keep my breakfast on the healthier side. Even if I'm going out for breakfast, when I'm traveling, if I'm doing like Airbnb, I try to make the food at home, or if I have hotel access, I try to keep breakfast as healthy as possible. Why? Okay. Wake up in the morning, you go for a walk, your odds are you're going to get home and have a healthier breakfast. Odds are you're going to have a healthier lunch. Odds are you're going to have a healthier dinner. You wake up in the morning, you just lay in bed. Odds are you're not going to start making those good decisions. So I start off a day of travel with a very healthy breakfast. That's going to make me want to make healthier decisions throughout the day. Even if I'm going to like an all-inclusive, and I know the freaking buffets that they have there, they are so good. They have all the options. Yes, I'm getting a little taste of here and there, but I'm mostly getting like eggs, and I get a lot of fruit. And that starts me feeling good. Fiber is in my system. I am full. I am feeling fresh. I'm going to make a better decision. And then later, because we're probably going to go out to eat, I'm following the same exact approach. I just had an awesome breakfast. Cool. Can I have a veggie based meal somewhere in the day? And then just be mindful when you eat, but we're being a little bit flexible. All right. Again, we're not going out to eat all the time. It's every so often. So it's not like it's going to be the end of the world, right? But how can we start to make these better decisions so that you are feeling better? So now a couple of pro tips that I like to follow when it comes to eating out. One is looking at the menu in advance. Yes, I'm a foodie and I want to know what I want, but I also want to know what are the options? How can I plan that into my day? So especially if you're not sure where you're going, I always ask. My parents used to like get really annoyed. They're like, "Why do you always want to know what time and where we're going?" I'm like, "I just like to plan my day." Right? Now my friends know I like to plan my day, like everything. This way I can go in with a plan and I'm not sitting there. I'm already hungry. We're already kind of like all about to order, trying to figure out what I'm going to have. If you can, look up the menu in advance so that you can go in with a game plan, right? And if you set yourself with a game plan, technically you barely even have to look at the menu because you already know what you're getting, right? I do not want you playing macro Tetris at the table. And what that means is if you pull out your MyFitnessPal at the table when you are at dinner with your family, with all of your friends, I will show up and I will take your phone away. Or do not tell anybody that I am your coach because I did not tell you to do that. That is my number one rule. No macro Tetris at the table, right? You are there, you are present, you are there to enjoy your food. So make sure that you look up your meal in advance. Regardless, you don't even have to put that meal into the app, right? One day a week where you're going out to eat and your day is not perfectly tracked, it's fine. Then the other days will be totally fine. And you'll start to see that. Of course, the girls that have been in here for longer, you see how that plays out. Usually the first times you go out, you kind of freak out a little bit and then you realize, oh wow, it's really, it's really about all of the things that I just mentioned, right? So make sure that you are not playing macro Tetris. Look at the menu in advance. If you want to track that meal, if you want to know how many calories should I have for the day, or should I have protein in the day, or am I going to order the salmon later, right? If you want to play macro Tetris at home, fine, just don't do that at the table. Next thing is recommend healthy places. All right. So when you're going out to eat, obviously we can make the decisions of like, let's go to the super greasy place. Obviously, like there's so many options, or can we go to a healthier place? Now, my go-tos are I love like a sushi. I love a poke bowl. I love like Hispanic restaurants. I feel like I can just get my rice and beans. Anywhere that has like bowls. I'm always the one to look these up and recommend these options, right? Usually, and especially if you're traveling, literally just look up healthy food places. If you're not used to getting healthy food places around you, start exploring. I promise you, there is something. Look up healthy food places and you will be surprised. If any of you have is it True Food? True Food. True Food around you, True Food literally has calories all over their menu. Every drink has a calorie intake. So you can see and you can start to make a big difference and a big like adjustment for your day, right? Little things like that. Can you just look up healthy food around you? And it can be the difference of this is at True Food. If you have one by you, please go send me pictures because I freaking love that place. But this pizza here, I forget the calories for that, but it really wasn't that high. I think it was like 600, 700 calories. This one was probably like 1500. This one was really, really good. However, it's the same pizza, two different locations. This one has a lot of cheese. This one has a lot of oils. This one has a lot of those ingredients that, like, this one's a little bit more in line with my goals. My friends were like, hey guys, let's go out to pizza. Let's go to Porto. And I'm like, have you guys tried True Food? Oh my God, they have great pizza there. So they're like, yeah, I'm down. Your friends will never be upset with wanting to go to a healthier option that also tastes good, right? Or if you're ordering pizza, a difference of can I get that healthier option is are you ordering Papa John's and Domino's and Pizza Hut or like these chain restaurants that literally do not care about the ingredients in your food? Or are you going to like the mom and pop shop that's like down the block and they are giving quality ingredients? This food is going to make you feel so much different. Calories probably about the same, to be honest. However, the quality of ingredients will make you feel way different. Right. So start looking this up. So we're not going to these burger spots, we're going to these burger spots. And we're looking up what are healthy alternatives for the same exact meal. Same exact meal. All right. And social pressures, especially if you're new. This is a thing. Fatigue shaming. Get it all the time, still get it now. It's gotten better. We have a whole entire call on this. If you ever run into, oh, I went out to eat, my mom is saying this, or like my friends are saying this, or they're saying, oh my gosh, you're gonna order this, or like you shouldn't be eating that, like you're on a diet, or like they always have fucking something to say. We have a whole entire call on social pressures, how to manage that, what to say, how to respond, how to make them seem like, damn, I'm kind of the asshole in this situation, right? So if that is the case, obviously we're here to help you, because to be honest, social pressures was one of the reasons that when I first hired my coach, my first coach years ago, social pressures was one of the reasons that I almost pulled out. I was 3 months in and I was like kind of doing good, but I felt like I was doing this all by myself. I kept getting these pressures from people like, oh my gosh, you're doing so much work, or like this, that, that I remember I was about to message. I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. Good thing that I didn't, but it did come down to that. So if that ever is your case and you're feeling that, I promise you there is a way to just make that so much better. And honestly, after a couple months, these people don't even care. So lastly, the reality of eating out is we have to ask ourselves, how do you want to feel? Have you ever went out to eat and you get home and you feel like, oh, that was heavy, that don't feel so good? The next day you're kind of like, oh, still kind of feeling it, right? How do you want to feel? Start making the decisions that are going to make you feel better. And once you make that decision, and when you get out of dinner and you feel good, then you'll want to make that decision again. Even sometimes, like even Thanksgiving, I have my family around me. They're like, oh, I can't move. I'm so full. Oh my God, I'm so like so stuffed. And I'm like, I feel fine. Like I feel good. That's what food is. Food is enjoying it, but also feeling good. All right. Remember, the reality is also you can't have it all, right? Because if you're having appetizer, bread, wine, desserts, all of these things, you probably won't feel so good. Right. When dieting, you will have to eat out less. So if you're in a calorie deficit, you just started this journey, or you're on a cut, or you're on like month 3, and I'm like, oh, we're pulling calories, and I'm explaining this to you, right? When I'm cutting, I don't go out to eat as much. So if you see me eating, this always reminds me of Joanne when she messaged me one day and she was like, hey, Nicole, like I see you are always going out to eat, but like I feel like I can't because my calories are low. I'm like, I'm not in a calorie deficit, and you won't be forever. So when you're on a calorie deficit and you're on this mission right now of fat loss, like, are we going out to eat a little bit less? Yes. Are we being a little bit more strict? Yes, but not forever. Right? Just keep that in mind. All right. Okay. And it's okay to want to live an above average life, right? Enjoying this way of living takes time. Making the healthier option, right? Your body actually telling you that it doesn't want the greasy option and it wants the healthier option, that's going to take time. Your palate will adapt. You will feel different. I never would have thought that I would be the girl that like you see and you're like, how do they love eating healthy? And now I'm the freaking girl that loves eating healthy. What? Never ever in my life would I have thought that. But genuinely, your body will, after a couple months, your body will start to feel it. So this is kind of the approach that I want you to start learning. Another thing for this that I want you to start questioning yourself is 2 things that honestly I probably ask you at some point, like if you go on vacation, what did you do well? So when you went out to eat, right? Cool. What did I do well? Okay. I did really well at ordering like the 0 calorie drinks, or like I did really well at this. And what could you have done better? Ah, damn, like I should not have ordered that. I should have ordered this so that I could kind of balance that out. Or earlier in the day, I was way too hungry and I didn't do that. Make sure you are reassessing. This time you went out to eat, what could I have done better? Next time, just do that. And then little by little, you start to learn. It's not going to be perfect. Don't expect perfect from the jump, right? And something that I always do is I trust myself to make the best decisions with the options I have available. Tell yourself that. Even if you're feeling a little anxious, you're going out to eat, you're like, fuck, I'm on this journey right now. I trust myself to make the best decisions with the options I have available. Self-trust is something that you will never, ever, ever like lose. You have trust in yourself to show up. You have trust in yourself to make the healthy decision. You have trust in yourself that you want the fucking pasta, but you're going to order the protein with the potatoes because it's going to make you feel so good. But I trust myself and I follow through. And you will never, ever, 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 ever lose that trust. Yes? Yes, hell yeah. And that is all for today's call. Remember that food is love and strength is power. Do we have any questions for today? Let me have some tea. any questions for today? Anything that you would like to even share from your journey? Maybe something that has worked for you. Maybe you've been with us for a little while. You would like to share something that's also open. You guys know the deal. I feel like I always get a lot of questions or like no questions at all. Drinks while on a deficit. So drinking while on a deficit, this is another thing that I had mentioned. When you're on a deficit, you eat less. When you're on a deficit, you're gonna drink less. That's another thing too. Like it's not, and I used to again think this, like I'm so restricted. Oh my gosh, dieting sucks. Like, no, calorie deficits suck, but they won't be forever. And you will be able to. So when we are thinking drinks, I usually, when I'm at a calorie deficit, I don't drink as much because I genuinely just like want more food. So like I'd rather go for the potatoes than for like the drinks. However, if I do want like I'm really in the mood for like some wine today, or I'm really in the mood for whatever I'm drinking, then I think, okay, I'm having drinks, I'm on a calorie deficit, I'm gonna have like the lower calorie option on the menu. So it's like, where am I giving? Where am I taking? That's the approach that I like to do. But it is, I think drinks are like the hardest part of a calorie deficit. So hopefully that answered your question. The 0 calorie mixers are the bomb. If you're like a, even like the, the little flavor thing, like the little Mios, if you're like a vodka and something girl, like vodka cran, vodka pineapple, vodka whatever, get a vodka with water, put some Mio, it tastes the same. I've even done it at like friends' barbecues, gave it to a bunch of people because I'm like, let me test this out so that my clients will actually believe me. And then my friends were like, what did you give me? It's so good. I'm like, 0 calorie. Thank you. Or with seltzer, it would taste good too. Any other questions? Or any questions unrelated to today's topic? This is fully open. Something came up on your plan, something came up this week, something is coming up, literally anything.
Completely unrelated, but I want to ask Jenna, where are you that you still have sunlight right now?
I'm dead.
I'm in San Francisco.
Oh,
Like
yeah, okay, because I
five.
got nothing but darkness over here, so
Where are
That's so
you?
funny. I was looking at that too. I'm like, you are glowing.
East Coast problems.
Oh, man.
Love it. Anybody else? Carla, do you have an actual question? Or was that just that? Oh, it's okay. All right, cool. So I will let you guys go. If you have any questions on this or feedback, because you know that is always accepted, shoot me a message. Or if you want to talk about a situation that happened, remember, it's only every single time that you go out to eat, it just gets easier and easier and easier, and it just gets better. So just give it patience. But we are here to help. So communicate with us if you need help. That is it. Again, if I disappear for like a day, it's because we lost power. Hopefully we don't, but I will be okay because we are in a good zone. So I will communicate with you and we will talk soon. Love you guys. Bye.